Alright, so we're going to be proceeding, ladies and gentlemen, with our ProE as it is initializing. Okay, so what are we going to be doing in this video tutorial? We are going to be drawing component number 2 as promised in the previous lecture. Component number 2, let me zoom it up. So we start to have a number of things in this component, but we're going to be doing it step by step to see what is really required in formulating component number 2. Alright, so what is the process step, or the sequence of steps that need to be executed to come up with this? Depending on how you view, I think what I can start with right now, I think I can start for minimum number of steps. I can start to draw this L shape of this component up to here. Yes, up to the part, the center or the starting edge of the semicircle. I can make this rectangle right there. I'll extrude it to get this component, the L-shaped component, or the angle shape, basically. Then after that, I can make the semicircle, and I can extrude it to the 12 distance, and then I can make these two semicircles here, these two concentric circles, the cylinder, hollow cylinder, which is protruding from this surface here, and then I'll end up by making the rib. So the L shape, the circle, the cylindrical component, and lastly the rib. That's the sequence of steps that I'm going to be executing in making component number 2. So we start to have a lot of components here, but the formulation is still the same. So I'm going to make a new folder. I don't know, this is what? Practice 4, I think. Okay, that's part diagram and that's millimeters. I'm going to be drawing this from the front, it doesn't matter. Right from the front, the L shape. Select the front plane and enter the sketch mode. Alright. Now we need to make the L shape. That means I will design the L shape using the line option. And this is the L shape. Now let me try to sketch it. This is the same. Let me check if these components are the same. This is 72 by 60. No, not by 6 actually. This is 72 by 72, but this is 60 plus 12. So the dimensions are also very important, otherwise you get this thing wrong. So I can make this component or these lines the same. LL right there. I'll click that. Now click this part LL, which is showing this part, and the other protrusion right there. And I'll bring this down to this. They are on the same level. Click it. Then I'll safely close. Get out of the command to modify these values. I'm going to be modifying these values in this manner. Alright. So let me see if I have all the components. Yes, I think I can safely deal with that. Let me border everything and modify the values using this option and check regenerate. And now let's start with this. First dimension right there. What is this dimension? If I recall well, this must be 12. I have to put a 12 right there. Next dimension, this is this part. So this part is what? This part will be 72 divided by 2, because this whole length is 72. So I can put a 36 right there. I can get this part, which is 60 divided by 2, which is 30. You can get this dimension here, which is 72. Make sure you refer to the diagram. And which dimension do we have? Okay, I think I'm done. I can click OK. Yep, that's the L shape that I have. So I have to get an extrusion of that. By selecting the extrusion option and seeing how this thing is extruding. I want to extrude on both surfaces, not on one side of that, but on both surfaces. An extrusion distance of what? 60. So I have to indicate 60 right there. I'm going to be happy with that. I don't need to visualize or to zoom into that. So that is done. Now I'm going to be designing the next component, which is the semicircle. I'm going to be selecting this face and I'm going to be sketching, going back into the sketch mode and sketching the circle. Now the circle is going to be utilizing this edge, the intersection of this upper edge and this front plane edge, to indicate its center, the location of its center. So I have to select some references. This is a reference axis or reference edge, a reference axis right there. Okay, and close. Now let's draw some circle. These, if you select this option, you get numerous options of drawing a circle. This is an ellipse. It's an ellipse again, a circle using 3 tangents. So in other words, this is a circle which is tangential to 3 lines or 3 edges there. Circle which is passing through 3 points, concentric circles. I'm going to be selecting the first option here, which is drawing a circle by specifying its center, and I think also specifying the diameter or the radius. So where is the center? So we can actually see here in our window it is saying that select the center of the circle. So where are we going to put it? We're going to put it here. Now we need to specify the point which marks the diameter of that. So I'll be extruding that to this point, and when it is incident to that, you start to experience, you can see that constraint highlighted in red to show that it is at the edge of it is at the vertex of that line or that edge of the rectangle. So I'm going to click OK right here. Then I'll get out of the command and I want to visualize everything. I'm going to be using this option, refit, to display it fully on the screen. That's it. You can zoom in and you can also zoom out. Okay, now if you're happy with that, so the center has been selected and also the diameter has been specified by showing that the circle was tangential to this edge of this component of this rectangle, of this L shape. So I'm going to click OK. And what am I going to do? I'm going to extrude this circle. So it is extruding in the wrong direction. Let me make the direction correct by adding material, which is OK, to a distance of 12, which is the thickness of the L shape. I'll specify 12 right there. Click it. Visualize. So the other half of the circle has been embedded inside. No problem with that. No problem with that. Because the semicircle is going to take a number of things. You can do that, but I've just ignored it so that I can minimize the number of steps required here. I'm going to click OK and done. Now I'm going to move into the third feature, which is the cylindrical, the hollow cylinder here, which is protruding from this surface. So I'm going to make some circles. So my circle is utilizing, or it's having some references. It is sharing the same center with the previously drawn circular component. But I'm going to selecting this surface. There's the procedure and getting into the sketch mode, and selecting this and getting into the sketch as follows. Sketch references. I want to select the previously drawn circle as a reference because I'm going to be using its center basically. Okay, and close. Now let me select the circle option again. So I'm going to be selecting the center. It's saying selecting the center of the circle. Select the center of the circle and selecting that and clicking in that manner. I'm going to be drawing another circle and in that manner. Those are my two circles that I have. Now let me dimension them. What are the dimensions? What are the diameters of the first one, or the inside one, which is 20 millimeters and the outside is 30. So this is 20 diameter and this is 30 diameter. It's been drawn properly right there. If you're happy with that, okay, now we're going to be extruding the area bounded by the two circles, or the two concentric circles right there. Going into the extrusion option and seeing how this thing is extruding. It's extruding in the right direction, but an extrusion distance of what? 25 millimeters. So I'm going to specify 25 millimeters. You can also specify here and here, whichever you want. That's 25. You click done. I'm happy with that. So far so good. It's coming up perfectly well. We are now getting into the fourth and the final feature that we get here, which is the rib of this component. So when viewed from this front view, this is trapezoidal in section. So I'm going to make it trapezoidal, or a trapezium, which is utilizing this reference and this edge as a reference and this horizontal edge as a reference, and I'm going to be joining to close the trapezoidal web that we have right there. So let me make some let me select the plane which I'm going to be using in making the web. So this is the front plane, which is right there in the middle, as you can see. So that's the advantage that you can get by centralizing your planes. The principal planes, if you centralize them, you will need to make any other datum planes or any other planes apart from these principal planes as references. It will lessen your burden, though it is also possible, but it will lessen your burden. We're going to see that later on during our tutorials. So I've selected the front plane where I'm going to be sketching my trapezoidal web. So I'll get into the sketch mode and then I'll select sketch. Which edges am I reutilizing again in my design? So I want this edge, I want this edge, I want this edge. So you can select as many references as you want. Since I want to utilize this vertex here, that means I have to select both this edge and this edge, utilizing that. You can select as many as you want. You can select this one, but though we are not going to be using them in formulation of my trapezoidal section. It doesn't matter, it doesn't alter anything. Then we close this thing and we're going to be selecting the line option to make the trapezoidal section. Let me start with this part to draw the trapezoidal section, and then it closes. Get out of the command. Now it is at the center right there, since I've drawn using the front plane. So I click done. What's left is to extrude this rib but I want this to be extruded in such a manner that it is extruded symmetrically. So I have to go for this option. To a thickness of what? Still remember that must be 8. That's it. View to see if got a perfect rib. Yes, I've got a perfect rib right there. I am going to click OK. And it is done. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you draw or design component number 2. That's how you can design component number 2, and you can follow these steps. I think it is very, very clear. Follow them until you get the same component number 2. You can even try some other method that you might actually see as possible in formulating the process steps, and compare with mine. If you have gotten a solution whereby you can design this component using fewer steps than I took, then that is absolutely perfect. That is absolutely brilliant. Alright, so this is done. Let me see you in the next part of the tutorial.